got one bag of smaller poles that are the center poles. The fuller bag is all your side poles. Should have 16 stakes and one tent canopy. That's all ready to go. All the way out. The tent unfolds side to side. That's good, Dave. Pull it over a little bit. Finish unfolding. Somewhat out flat. The side poles, I don't know if you can zoom in, are just two pieces and they snap together. The stakes, you set to the stake at the edge of the tent, flip it over once, about halfway down the stake is where you plant the stake for the strings. The string comes out, little bow, and it wraps just like that. You do that for each stake, for each rope. Go through and pound each stake about halfway in. And do that for all of the stakes around the outside of the tent.
Is the top poles or the center poles only. They're color coded. These ones are. There's green. Green goes to green, red to red. Once you find them.
Center poles out of the bag, and if you lay them out by color, there should be 8 total pieces, 4 per pole. They should always snap together, red to red, black to black, and green to green. Once you snap those together, that will give you your center pole.
See the wind.
First, you get the one side done and the next pole's done. Skip over the next side poles, come down to the corners, and set the other 2 outside corners to keep the tent from pulling itself over. Set. You might have to go through on some of your ropes and pull tight and just wrap it around the stake a couple of times to make sure that it's nice and tight to help hold all of the poles upright. You want your tent kind of drooped there in the middle so that it gives the slack to put in the center poles. So now we're going to take the center poles. All right, we're going to take the center poles. Now follow me in, Wendy. Center poles. There's this metal O-ring and the grommet that you can see. Center pole goes through both of those. Pulls nice and tight. When both center poles are in, you're going to lift them both at the same time. Now your tent is up, standing, And all you got to do is go back through and tighten it down to get all the slack out of it. All right, when you get ready to start drawing the slack out of it, just pick one corner. Doesn't matter what corner you pick and start with. You just start at one corner. You're gonna pull it tight. One person's gonna hold it.
Which rope does what, or what side?
I'm gonna start with one rope and make sure the pole's straight and pulled tight. You're gonna wrap it tight. Come to the next one. You're not gonna see a lot of difference on your first couple of stakes because you're just setting the foundation. Wrap them nice and tight. Get it pulled nice and tight. Make sure the pole somewhat drawn out of the outside. Then go back through and straighten your center poles and make sure that your center poles, the center here, all the way down is in a straight line, or as straight as you can get it. Are we actually pretty
Yep.
good? All right, so once you get your center poles up and straight, you take your rope, wrap it around, pull it back through. It's called a half loop. Raise it up, pull it down onto itself. Come just after the split of the pole, make another half loop. Pull it down onto itself again. And you're just going to wrap the rope back onto itself a couple of times. Pull it through one time just to get it to stay. And leave it just like that for a minute. All right, so once you have your rope secured, you're gonna put your stake right next to the pole. Move your pole just a couple of inches. You're gonna pound your stake in. About halfway. Slide your center pole back up tight to the stake. And come down. Make one last half loop around the pole and the stake, and it wraps back around. Tucks in and pulls. That helps secure your center pole to the stake. One more thing to make sure your tent's not going to fly off on you. What you can do is go through, have somebody draw and push the poles tight so there's no slack on the edge of the tent. And you're going to pound your stakes. Again, just work your way around the outside of the tent, drawing it tight so you've got the nice tight line there to help it draw the whole tent nice and taut. And then you're all set. Enjoy your tent.